Hey there, welcome back to Hauer Power's YouTube channel. My name's Trevor, and I'm here with Ryan Hauer, the owner of Hauer Power. And today we just wanted to have a quick discussion about a scenario that Ryan runs into all the time. Brand new home, and you think that it's absolutely perfect. You think that, oh man, everything's going to be great. Nothing's wrong with it at all. And, within reason, right? But you wouldn't expect that your electrical system is going to have issues. But it does happen often, and you run into that where things aren't working right. So tell me a story about what a home that you had recently, brand new home, big, beautiful home, but it had problems. What were the problems?
Yeah. Okay. So, I'll start from the top. We get the call and we ask some leading questions. So this qualifies for some work. If we brace them kind of what they might be looking for, worst case scenario, best case scenario, but we can come out and give a quote, and either way, take care of them. And they go, yeah, absolutely. So we come on out, and end of a cul-de-sac, really beautiful home. Nice leading driveway up to the house. They just bought this house, lived there less than 6 months. I think it was just over 1.5 they bought it for. And we go on in, and when he would use his microwave and dim the lights, the microwave would trip out. If the lights were at full on with that dimmer switch, microwave wouldn't trip out. But like clockwork, if you would dim the lights and use the microwave at the same time, cooking anything past 2 minutes, it would trip out.
Okay. That right there is weird.
Super weird.
That's super weird.
For a few reasons, too.
Yeah, right?
It should be on separate circuits, for one.
Yeah, $1.5 million home, too. That's bizarre to me. But okay, go on.
Okay, so new homes, they are built fast, and they are built to be affordable. And we do have a housing crisis, so I get that contractors have to whip it together to make it affordable. They have to go with the cheapest bidder.
And let's be real. They usually use a first year or a group of first years run in there and slinging wire everywhere.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of those jobs because we don't really believe in that. And that's fine that, there's a lot of companies that are best suited to do that, to run a crew of first years and have one journeyman, and they're doing 5 houses, and that makes sense to them. For us, I can't sit right with that. We do check up on our guys. We do pair up an apprentice with a journeyman 1-to-1 ratio, and all our jobs go really well for that. But that does mean that if we're wiring a house, doing a rough-in and a finishing, and it's a brand new build, it's probably going to be more expensive than if they throw a whole team of apprentices on there and just start slinging wire, drilling holes and running it through.
Yeah, so you'd be better suited to a custom home where, you can take your time, have the right guys in the right places, and have the right margin for the job, because, you're not one of the slap together homes or the cookie cutter homes that need to be put together really fast so that the builder makes some money on it, right?
Yeah, if it's your forever home and you want someone who's going to come back when there's warranty stuff, then we're the guys for you. If you want the people that this company hired, and I won't say the builder's name and I won't say the electrical contractor's name, but $1.5 million house, you would expect that when they call and say, hey, my dimming lights tripped the microwave and a whole bunch of other issues, you would expect some sort of warranty or callback, or even someone to answer the phone rather than and this line has been disconnected. Like, that company's gone, and they.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I've learned since we last spoke about this, they've shystered a whole bunch of other homes on that same block out of home warranty, and so that's what these companies will do. They'll roll in, kibosh a whole bunch of houses, and bankrupt, flip, start a new company under a new numbered business, and.
Wow. So, what were some of the other issues that this house had? So the microwave thing, dim the lights, it would pop the breaker.
Yeah.
What else was going on?
So. I dug deeper. That's what we'll try to do with our clients. I reached out to the city. I said, hey, here's this address. Pulled a sticker off the panel there. Not physically, just took a photo of it. But took that number, went to the city, said, hey, what did this inspection report look like? Because after I seen the panel, and they had 19 or 20, I think they had 21 arc fault breakers, which is a lot, even for a big house. We do need a lot of arc fault breakers, but that seemed excessive. So that was a red flag to me. And we had 2 other journeymen on site troubleshooting with their apprentices. And they also flagged that in their notes individually as well. But went to the city, what this inspection report looked like. Here's the address. Homeowner has this issue. City was great. They got back to us. I think it was the next day or that day, and they said we can't give you the actual report, but it was 2 pages long and full of deficiencies.
Oh my goodness.
And they said that they had to file a VOC, which is a verification of compliance. Essentially, a master electrician says, yep, we fixed all those deficiencies, and maybe they send in photos, maybe they don't. And then at that point, that master electrician takes onus for anything that's in the home. However, if that master electrician is now out of business and cannot be reached, there's no onus there.
Yeah.
So have fun sourcing that out.
Off luck.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happened here. So bunch of deficiencies. They hammered in a boatload of arc fault breakers, shotgun blasted the panel that way, and just did whatever they could to kind of sweep it under the rug and walk away from the job, and signed a verification of compliance, meaning no other inspectors coming out to look at it again.
So what else was wrong with the place? What did you find out?
So when we dug deep and we were troubleshooting, one, it was on a shared neutral, the circuit with the microwave with the circuit with the lighting. And in homes, you shouldn't really have too many shared neutrals. Our practice is no shared neutrals. In the past, you used to have shared neutrals for kitchen split counter plugs, and that's common practice, and that's still code acceptable today. But again, not really good practice. 20 amp circuits dedicated. That would be our best practice. But for shared neutrals in a home, that creates problems like that. So that's why you don't do shared neutrals. That's more of a commercial setting to use shared neutrals, which we do that all the time too. But when you have a microwave and you have lighting and it's on a shared neutral and the switch isn't getting what it needs, then you're going to have those issues. Further on that, what we found was it was 4-way switching, meaning if you have a switch controlled 3 locations, that's 3-way switching. It's got 3 terminals. Two locations, 3-way switching. 3 or more locations, though, is 4-way switching, refers to the terminals on the switch. 4-way switches have 4 terminals. And so what they had with this was, if you picture one location and you picture another location, and you have your hot going from A to B, what they had with their neutral, or their identified rather, was going from A, looping back, and then going to B. So they had their neutral running effectively 3 lines, getting induced current back to, on its own line, induced on its own neutral, back to the other switch. So that's what was tripping out those arc fault breakers too.
Crazy.
So all we can do now in that scenario is effectively remove all those arc fault breakers, because now they're going to be sensitive to the arcing nature. Put in all regular breakers and run a new cable, which is what we did from the one switch to the other. Got real creative with some crown molding and removal. We didn't have to do any drywall work, which that was a saving grace. Great client. We're still working with them. But we got a new cable, ran from point A to point B, and got one of the many issues rectified. Yeah, $1.5 million house. This should be wired right, you'd think. But yeah, so we got that part fixed up, and now,
well, that means there's more ways to screw that up because it's a larger home.
Yes.
You know, if you don't have a good plan and you don't actually draw out what that circuit is supposed to look like, or the multiple circuits is supposed to look like, it's going to get messed up.
Yeah, they got really creative with their switching, and every single one of our electricians found it too. Even our first years, because we do so much training with our guys, they opened it up and said, hey, I think they ran the neutral back and forth before actually terminating here. And so, yeah, with that, they were able to splice one, and then we had to pull a new one for the other one. But yeah, pretty bonkers stuff. And that led us then to look at more, and that led us to our grounding electrode. When we looked at the grade outside of the house, it was very steep from the house to the rest of the neighborhood for the grade. And that seemed kind of off. So we asked some more leading questions with the homeowner. Hey, when it rains, do you notice your lights dim more or less or the same? And they said, yeah, actually, when it rains, it dims way more. And when the snow melts, it seems like it dims way more. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So when you have more water in the earth, and specifically water at your grounding electrode, which is your conductor touching the actual earth, your reference back to source, that water will dissipate what you have going on. You won't have as strong as a connection from your grounding electrode to the earth, which is kind of neat, especially, you know, if you look at it in labs and you watch videos of it and dive deep, it makes sense. But when you don't have a connection to the earth, it's bad, because it's going to find its way back.
It's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, your circuit boards in your washing machine or your dishwasher or your microwave, anything with a circuit board is going to take that hit. And with enough, it's going to cook that circuit board. So long story long, what we have to do here is we got to go back to this guy's house in the spring and dig 2 rods outside in his dirt, drill those 10 feet deep, connect those, and then bring those back to his panel. And now he'll have a new grounding rod, 2 of them, new grounding electrode that'll be 10 feet deep, 10 feet apart, so that all the reference voltages can go back to earth, which is, it's nuts. Because if you have a ground plate, which is what all these builders do.
Yeah, because they're cheap, fast, easy. Dig a hole, chuck it in.
You can buy a ground plate for less than $50.
Yeah.
And some of the older
and it's
ones,
steel, typically.
Yeah, well, copper clad. They should be galvanized now too. But you can still find some older ones that they're not CSA approved. They look exactly the same.
Yeah.
And if you wouldn't know, you wouldn't know. But if it's not galvanized and it is a ferrous metal, well, it will rust.
Yep.
And rust is not a conductor. It's just gonna erode your connection with the earth. But further on that, these plates by code have to go 2 feet deep. So if our frost line where we bury our dead is 6 feet, because that's where the ground stops freezing. If it's 2 feet deep, it's within that frost line. It's going to get moisture. It's going to freeze. It's going to thaw. It's going to rust. Mother Nature always wins.
Yep.
So if a ground rod is 10 feet deep, or your copper water line with your water coming to your house, if that is 10 feet deep, those are great grounding electrodes.
Yeah. Only way to get around that with the grounding plate is if it's inside the house, in the basement, 2 feet below grade.
And
2 feet below grade.
And here's the thing too, with that, I'm glad you mentioned that, because when you have a foundation of a house and those developers have distributed all their dirt and now they lay all their basement foundations and we have a ground plate in that dirt below the concrete foundation, if that ground plate has its connection come up, which that copper number 6 is going to be coming through the concrete, that would act as a support effectively if the dirt below that foundation were to erode or crumble or dissipate or naturally tap itself down. So if it's 2 feet
and you're pulling it out,
if you have a pit of dirt below your home that you don't know about, and that foundation is strong, but it's just floating ground, you have no ground. And that often happens because, again, builders, developers take shortcuts.
Improper.
They have to save money, so the ground won't be fully tapped. And if
you gotta make sure it's solid.
Yeah, if it's not tamped, or if they took any shortcuts with tamping, if anyone knows anything about tamping dirt and testing the moisture level of the dirt, it's pretty specific on how it has to be. So for someone to take those shortcuts, it's not surprising. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
By the time a concrete foundation is poured there too, no one's saying, "Oh, jackhammer it back up. We gotta test the humidity of the dirt."
No, by that time it's like, you're putting in ground rods outside.
Yeah, exactly. So option 1, we're either gonna cut open a square in his laundry room, effectively, of the concrete of the base of his foundation, and then put in our ground rods and run that back. Or option 2, we'll just do it outside and run it back inside, so we don't have to cut up a chunk of his concrete in his basement.
Yeah, that's probably better.
Yeah, I would prefer to do it the outside route.
Yeah, because inside also they put vapor barrier underneath the concrete slabs now.
Yep.
So you don't want to mess with that.
Not to mention, once you start using a concrete saw, it's pretty bloody dusty.
Oh yeah, terrible. That's not something you want to do.
Yeah, we could put down 5 mil drop cloths all the way around, and there would still be a boatload of dust. No one's gonna want that job either. Yeah, hey Bill, jump on this concrete saw and get coated in some silica dust here. This will be good for you. No, it'll be more efficient to put those rods outside, and again, 10 feet deep, 10 feet apart, back to the house, perfectly grounded. Yeah, the only times you can't do that is if there's other utilities in the way. And that's the other hard part too. This might have to be a part 2, but at the end of the day, if you have houses that are being built today and they're 8 feet from the other house and you have 8 utilities running in there, you got Shaw to both houses, you got your fiber optic to both houses, then you have your power to both houses, you got your gas to both houses, you got plumbing,
you got electrical,
you got septic. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you got a dozen services in that 8-foot span. No directional driller is going to want to drill that. Maybe you get a hydrovacer in there, but yeah, if we're hammer drilling down rods 10 feet deep, we don't want to hit services either. So
No.
we got to do line locate. We have to do permission sign off. We got to get the homeowner on board with that. Or it can be hydrovac that deep. So that's the only way, but it's a heck of a lot easier to do that at the new construction stage because you buy these rods, maybe it's $100 of equipment versus $40 of equipment. And maybe it's more labor. At the end of the day though, I mean, if you're doing a ground plate brand new install, maybe that costs the company $250. The ground rods brand new install, maybe it costs the company $500, $600. At the end of the day, when we're doing it now after the fact, you can only imagine how much more that costs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on the homeowner because the home warranty company is gone now.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah. It's
Oh
nuts.
boy.
That guy's neighbor
Mm-hmm.
has a house where a home inspector that we follow, he goes to inspect this home again. They haven't lived there 6 months. This home was quite a bit more. I think it was 2.3 or 2.4 million. Big expensive home.
Mm-hmm.
And the shingles on this house were upside down. The shingles on the roof exterior were upside down. Now, like as a volunteer with big brothers, big sisters, I was talking to our little about this and showing him what a shingle looks like. And he had a pretty darn good idea of how to mount a shingle on a roof.
Yeah.
Kid's 11.
Only really one right way to put that on a house.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer, but you get all these people in, they're the bottom dollar bidders, and they got to build these homes. If it's one thing, if it's affordable for affordable housing, and they got to get someone in a house real quick, that's one thing. But to build a luxury home, advertise it as such,
Right.
and then slap shingles on upside down, I don't know. That's not even.
And you didn't have no warranty on that shingle either.
No.
You couldn't even contact the company for warranty on the shingle.
Yeah.
That's a complete tear off and redo,
Yeah.
right start to finish.
No wonder this company's gone the way of the dodo bird because
Wow.
that's lawsuits galore. I'd be livid.
I'd be
Yeah.
irate.
Yeah. Oh. I can't
How did it
imagine.
pass inspection?
With that, if anyone's still watching here,
Right.
reach out to us. If you have a similar horror story, we would love to hear it.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's bonkers out there and we get to hear about it all day long. Yeah. All the different home inspectors, they all get to see this stuff. And the ones that I talk to a lot, they say, yeah, if it's 2000 and newer,
Mhm.
expect a lot of things wrong with it. But if it's pre-2000, if it's 1968, 69, 70s, a lot of those 70s bungalows built rock solid, no problems.
Mm-hmm.
They've stood the test of time. They were built when people weren't rushing houses, when quality and ethic meant something. But now they're just slapping them together real quick.
Yeah.
It's like
Fast as you can get it done.
where it's not even customer service in the trades at that point. It's like, where has the bare knowledge gone? Where has the bare care gone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the big thing about you guys at Hauer Power is you guys really care about what you do. You care about the customers, you care about the end result, and you don't want to have to go back to a house to fix something. I mean, you will if it is an error, but at the same time, like it's not, your goal isn't to get warranty work. Your goal is to like solve the customer's problem, be finished with it, and make them happy, right?
Yeah.
So that you have a return customer or a referral from them.
Yeah, big time.
Did you get any referrals from this one? From this guy?
Yeah, actually, we got he hooked us up with his general contractor people. They're really nice, and he also has a cafe. We'll probably end up working at that too. And then the neighbor, I think they actually just posted the house because they found if that's the tip of the iceberg. Exterior, you could fly a drone over and say, "Oh, these shingles are upside down." I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, great client. We hope to keep working with them as well as. I mean, we got over 4,000 clients, and it goes to show you we do get a warranty call maybe once every 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
We get a warranty call and treat it how we should. We go, oh yeah, absolutely. We offer 1 year warranty on all our stuff. I mean, if it's a year and a few months and it's something that we did wrong, absolutely we'll still fix it. Our pot light stops working. Yeah, we'll still fix that. On top of that too, we do have our scheduled emails that go out. So if 8 months after the job's completed, it shoots you out an email saying, hey, pre-warranty, is anything wrong at all? We don't expect anything to be wrong, but if there is, let's get ahead of that. Let's get you in. And it helps us get more work too, which is nice. Yeah. It's win-win-win. Gets the client what they want. If something's wrong, it gets fixed. And nice little follow-up, and we get to talk to more nice people. That's always a win.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much for sharing with us and finally doing a video with me. That's awesome.
Thanks, Trevor. Thanks for having me.
You bet. No problem. See you guys next time.